that, of course, representing his country, it was just a very special moment in his life because he, like so many other Costa Ricans, for them, football is the #1 sport in the world. So to represent your country in your favorite sport at the highest level, it definitely fills you with pride. And otra vez queremos hablar de las emociones de cuando llegaste al Mundial y viste a la bandera de Costa Rica a ese nivel tan alto. ¿Qué sentiste? What did you feel seeing Costa Rica's flag, hearing the anthem at the World Cup at that high level?
Momento especial y mucho orgullo, el poder estar en ese escenario, el poder observar no solo la bandera, sino poder cantar el himno nacional en un mundial, pues es algo que he soñado y que gracias a Dios pues tuve esa oportunidad de tenerlo y de poder defender los colores patrios.
Well, he says he thanks God for giving him that opportunity to be able to get to a World Cup where he could not only see his country's flag flying so high, but be able to sing the words of his national anthem. We know that's definitely a moment that filled him with pride. Gracias, Paulo. Vamos a hablar contigo en un ratito. We'll speak to Paulo in just a bit. But right now, we have another great name of CONCACAF football to assist us with this draw. A man with over 100 caps for his country, Jamaica. It's Ricardo Bibi Gardner. Well, Bibi, welcome, welcome. Absolute pleasure to be able to share a stage with you as a fellow Jamaican. Bibi and I go way back. And I remember back in '98 when Jamaica qualified for that France World Cup. I was only 8 years old, but the things that you guys did, we got a week of public holidays. We had parades. It was probably the happiest time in the country. And for my 8-year-old self, it was one of the best days of my life. And this is that I was just a fan. But for you as a player, to be able to give that to your country, how did you feel?
It was an amazing feeling. I mean, I was just 18-year-old. It felt so surreal. That memory will always be present in my mind. And I remember being on the streets of Jamaica, seeing the fans wearing our colors, filling the streets of Jamaica to celebrate the biggest moment in our country's history. It was just a great moment to be a part of. And myself and my teammates are so blessed to be a part of such a great moment of Jamaica's history.
Yeah, we know that Jamaica has many historic moments as well in sports. But fast forward now to the current crop of reggae boys. There's a lot of hype around this team. Some people even saying that they're right on par with your generation, if not more talented than your generation. So how do you see it as it relates to their chances qualifying for this World Cup?
I think compared to us back then, we were more raw talent with little experience. With this crop of players that we have now, talented plus more experience. With everything that they have, I think they have all that it takes to go and qualify for 2026 World Cup. And we're backing them to do that.
All right, so Bibi with some big words there. No pressure, reggae boys, but Bibi's backing you to qualify for this World Cup. Thank you so much to you. And of course, to Paula, we'll catch up with you guys in just a bit. But now it's time to focus on the reason why we're all here, right? The draw. So please welcome on the stage Chief Tournament Officer, USA, FIFA World Cup 26, Manolo Subiria. And just like magic, Manolo is right here. Manolo, it wouldn't be a big draw if you weren't here. So I know you've definitely come with some good news, especially because there's a new qualifying format. So could you tell me a bit more about how it's changed?
Absolutely, Alexis. And let me just say I'm delighted to be here. The new format gives CONCACAF teams more opportunities than ever to qualify to the FIFA World Cup. Canada, Mexico, and the USA will not be part of the qualifying process, having already been guaranteed a place in the FIFA World Cup as co-host. Round 1 will consist of the 4 lowest ranked teams in the FIFA Coca-Cola rankings as of 21st of December of last year. They will play a playoff series over 2 legs in March of this year. That will decide which 2 teams will eventually join the other 28 CONCACAF nations in round 2 of World Cup qualifiers. Those first round playoff matchups have already been determined, but today we'll set out the path that the teams will follow to reach the 3rd and final round of CONCACAF's World Cup qualifying. Eventually, 3 teams will join the 3 co-hosts as automatic qualifiers, and 2 more CONCACAF countries could progress via the playoff tournament, potentially making it a total of 8 teams from CONCACAF region at the next FIFA World Cup. Now, through this short video, we'll try to make this whole process much clearer. So let's take a look.
The FIFA World Cup 26 will be the most inclusive ever as 48 teams compete for world football's biggest prize. The unprecedented trio of co-hosts, Canada, Mexico, and the USA, already have their places, with up to 5 CONCACAF neighbors joining them at the final tournament. 3 teams will automatically clinch spots at the end of the CONCACAF qualifying process, which spans 3 rounds. A further 2 countries could qualify via the FIFA Intercontinental Playoff Tournament. The journey begins in March 2024. The lowest 4 CONCACAF teams in the men's FIFA Coca-Cola World Ranking, as of the 21st of December 2023, have already been split into 2 matches based on their ranking. They face off over 2 legs, home and away, to determine who progresses from round 1. The winners line up alongside the remaining 28 CONCACAF nations in the FIFA Coca-Cola ranking, excluding the 3 co-hosts for the second round. The 30 teams are divided into 6 groups of 5, from A through to F, drawn from 5 pots. Before the start of the draw, the 6 highest-ranked teams have been placed in Pot 1, the next 6 in Pot 2, and so on until Pot 5 is complete. Starting with Pot 1 and progressing in sequence through to Pot 5, each group will be allocated 1 team from each pot. The team's position in the group matches the number of the pot they were drawn from. Kicking off in June 2024, each country will face every other team in the group once. That makes a total of 4 matches for each nation. By mid-June 2025, we'll know which teams occupy the top 2 spots in each group. That will see those 12 nations progress to the 3rd and final qualifying round and keeps their dream alive of being part of the greatest show on earth in 2026.
Okay, Alexis, so that should be clear, right?
Absolutely, Crystal. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay, so let's just recap to make sure. There's 5 pots here on the stage, 3 pots to my right with Paulo, 2 pots to my left with Bibi. The draw will begin by drawing all the teams from pot 1, which includes the highest ranked teams of this evening's draw. And then we'll conclude with drawing the 6 teams from pot number 5, which are the lowest ranked teams in the draw. Important to mention that the 2 playoff teams are positioned in pot number 5. The teams will be drawn in position into the position within each group from the pot that they're drawn in. So the teams from pot 1 will take position number 1 in groups A, B, C onto group F. And once we conclude pot number 5, the draw will basically be complete. Important to remember, the teams will play 4 matches in total, 2 home and 2 away. And I think at this point we can commence. But first, Paulo, let's look at a quick video to introduce the 6 teams that make up pot 1. And there we have them, the 6 strongest teams in this evening's draw. ¿Estamos listos, Pablo? Are we ready?
We're ready.
Okay, let's proceed in drawing the first team from pot 1, please.
Honduras.
Well, Honduras made their third and most recent appearance at the FIFA World Cup finals back in 2014.
And Honduras, as we said, will take position 1 in Group A. Ahora sí, Pablo, let's continue with the next team, please.
There it is. Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. He said that one with a little extra love there. Costa Rica have played in 187 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. That's actually the second most in history.
And I hope all of Costa Rica is watching Paulo, as the fate of Costa Rica is in your hands. So now let's go to find out who will be in Group C.
Haití.
And Haiti are aiming to return to the finals 52 years after their debut in 1974.
And Haiti will take position C1. And now we can proceed to the next team, please, Paulo.
Panamá.
Panama made their FIFA World Cup finals debut in 2018 and are aiming to qualify for a second time.
And Panama team D1. We can now go. We have 2 left in part 1. Paulo, por favor. Next team.
Jamaica.
And I just felt Bibi bring a little sigh out. He's hoping for the best here because, as we discussed earlier, Jamaica are aiming to return to the FIFA World Cup finals 28 years after their debut when Bibi and company brought them there back for France 98.
And so Jamaica in Group E. And now on to the last team from part 1. Please, Paulo.
El Salvador.
And El Salvador, saludos a mis salvadoreños. El Salvador previously appeared at the 1970 and 1982 FIFA World Cup finals.
And with El Salvador going into Group F, that concludes part 1. Paulo, thank you very much. We will now move on to part 2, but first we'll look at a quick video to introduce the 6 teams in part 2. And that's the lineup in part 2. And now, Paulo, let's see who Honduras will get, if they will be happy or unhappy.
We'll see.
Let's take out the first team.
Antigua and Barbuda.
Well, talk about some good home advantage. Antigua and Barbuda went undefeated at home during the 2022 qualifiers.
And they'll be joining Honduras, as we said, in Group A. And now, Paulo, let's see who Costa Rica will get.
Let's see. Trinidad and Tobago.
Sweet, sweet TNT, land of Calypso and Soca. They were debutantes back in 2006, and the Soca Warriors will no doubt be aiming to make a return to the finals 20 years on.
And Trinidad going with B2 with Costa Rica. Let's proceed to go to see who goes into Group C.
Curazao.
Well, an unbeaten Curacao topped their group in the first qualifying round for 2022.
Curacao, position C2, joining Haiti in Group C. Paulo, please, let's take the next one.
Nicaragua.
Well, Nicaragua finished second in their group in the first qualifying round for the 2022 tournament.
And Nicaragua joining Panama in Group D. Down to the last two teams. Paulo, please.
Guatemala.
Now, how about this for a stat? Guatemala had 10 different scorers when they recorded their biggest FIFA World Cup qualifying victory with a 10-0 win in June 2021. 10 different scorers.
I didn't see Bibi look too happy of that. So
Sorry.
Maybe have to talk to the defense of Jamaica.
we'll go on to the last team from Part 2, please, Paulo.
Surinam.
And Suriname were group runners-up in the first round of the 2022 qualifiers.
And with that, with Suriname going into position F2, we completed Part 2. Thank you, Paulo. We will now proceed to Part number 3. And again, let's look at a quick video to introduce the teams that make up Part 3. And there it is, Part 3. We can move right on. Paulo, please, let's take the first team out.
Cuba.
And Cuba reached the quarterfinals in their one FIFA World Cup finals appearance all the way back in 1938, which is when Manolo was born.
Really? Last time I checked, that's not accurate, but I'll take it. And they'll be in Group A as A3. Paulo, please, let's take the next team.
St. Kitts and Nevis.
Well, St. Kitts and Nevis finished top of their group in the first round of the 2022 qualifiers.
And they'll be joining Costa Rica and Trinidad and Tobago in Group B. With that, we can go on to the next team. Please, Paulo.
St. Lucia.
And St. Lucia are in great form right now, winning 7 of their last 10 matches.
No, St. Lucia was part 1 on my honeymoon, so I have
Part 1.
part 1, yes.
Must be nice when you can afford 2 honeymoons.
Yeah, no, only 1 honeymoon.
Where was part 2?
Other confederation. We'll have to wait for the next
no.
draw.
It's all about Concacaf.
St. Lucia will be in Group C as Team C3. Paulo, please, let's go on to the next team for Group D.
Guyana.
Guyana, who have been absolutely legendary in boxing and cricket, but they're going to try to do so in football. And Guyana's best FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign to date was in 2014 when they reached the final round.
And with that, Guyana will be in D3. And so we can move on to the next team, please, Paulo.
Dominican Republic.
And the Dominican Republic senior team will hope to match their under-20 counterparts. They were the first side to actually represent the nation at a FIFA tournament at last year's FIFA Under-20 World Cup.
And again, I didn't see Bibi look too happy on that. So let's move quickly to the next team and finish part 3, please, Paulo.
Puerto Rico.
And we talked about home advantage earlier. Well, Puerto Rico are absolutely taking advantage of that. They've not lost a FIFA World Cup qualifying match at home since September 2011.
Impressive. So Puerto Rico, team F3. With that, we conclude part 3. Paulo, thank you very much. We will move on now to part number 4 with Bibi. But before, let's quickly look at a video introducing the 6 teams that make up part number 4. And there it is, part number 4. Bibi, the action turns to you now. Let's take out the first team from part number 4, please.
Bermuda.
Well, this is Bermuda's 9th FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign.
Alexis, you know, Bermuda probably has the nicest uniform.
The pink.
You know, yes, love it.
Chef's kiss.
And Bermuda will be in Group A. Bibi, please, let's take out the next team.
Grenada.
Grenada. Forget about the Spice Girls in the UK because the Spice Boys are from Grenada and they competed in League A during the last 2 CONCACAF Nations League campaigns.
I don't know if Paulo, he's shaking his head, so we should move on to the next. Grenada will be in Group B. Let's see now Group C.
Barbados.
Ooh, Barbados. I'll tell you who'd love this one. Rihanna, because she's from Barbados, of course. And Barbados are participating in their 10th FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign. So maybe they'll be lucky if she comes to match.
Maybe she's watching.
Riri, if you're watching, we got your invites.
Barbados will be C4 in Group C. So now, Bibi, let's move on to the next team, please.
Montserrat.
And Montserrat are unbeaten in their last 5, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 FIFA World Cup matches.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Montserrat, team D4 in Group D. And now down to the last 2, please, Bibi.
Dominica.
Dominica, the Nature Isle, known for their wonderful rainforest, and they were recently promoted to League B of the Concacaf Nations League. So I'm sure Jamaica would be happy to make the quick trip over.
So Dominica, E4, and now we can finalize pot 4 with the last team, please.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Well, St. Vincent and the Grenadines are participating in their 9th FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign.
And with St. Vincent and the Grenadines taking position F4, concludes pot 4. Thank you, Bibi. We will now move to the last pot of this evening's draw, pot number 5. Let's quickly take a look at the last video to see the teams who make up pot number 5. And there it is, the last pot of this draw. Bibi, please have the honor of drawing the first team out of pot 5.
Cayman Islands.
Well, the Cayman Islands are making their 8th attempt to reach the FIFA World Cup.
And with Cayman Islands, we conclude Group A. So we can move on to the next team, please.
Bahamas.
The Bahamas are participating in their 7th FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign.
And Bahamas as team B5 concludes Group B. Let's move on to the next, please.
Aruba.
And Aruba were recently promoted to League B of the Concacaf Nations League.
And with Aruba, we complete another group. Group C is now complete. Bibi, please, let's move on to the next.
Belize.
This is Belize's 8th FIFA World Cup qualifying campaign.
And with Belize, we complete Group D. We're down to the last two, the 2 playoffs. Bibi, please.
Winner, playoff 2.
Well, the British Virgin Islands and the US Virgin Islands will meet in playoff 2 to determine who joins this group.
And remember, we'll have to wait till March of this year to see who will advance. And now, to finalize the draw, please, Bibi, draw the last team for playoff.
Winner, playoff 1.
And the winner of playoff 1 between the Turks and Caicos Islands and Anguilla will join this group.
And with that playoff number 1, we conclude Group F. We've completed pot number 5. Thank you, Bibi. And with that, Alexis, we've completed the draw. So what do you say we quickly recap all the groups?
Let's do it.
Okay. Group A, led by Honduras and joined by Antigua and Barbuda, Cuba, Bermuda, and the Cayman Islands. Group B, led by Costa Rica, joined by Trinidad and Tobago, St. Kitts and Nevis, Grenada, and the Bahamas. Group C, with Haiti, joined by Curacao, St. Lucia, Barbados, and Aruba. Group D, with Panama, Nicaragua, Guyana, Montserrat, and Belize. Group E, with Jamaica, joined by Guatemala, Dominican Republic, Dominica, and the winner of playoff number 2. And last but not least, Group F, led by El Salvador, joined by Suriname, Puerto Rico, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the winner of playoff number 1. Alexis, with that, I give it back to you.
Thank you so much, Manolo. And I can imagine that some of you out there are already plotting your team's route to the final round. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but from our legends, there were a couple of smiles, a couple of grunts, a couple of sighs when we were building up the group. So let's get into their heads right now, shall we? Let's start off with you, Paulo. Looking at Costa Rica's group with Trinidad and Tobago, St. Kitts and Nevis, Grenada, and the Bahamas, who are you expecting some serious competition from? Is it TNT?
It's gonna be tough, the group, as always, despite our experience. But I think it will be nice to go on a holiday to those countries. And I'm not disrespect, you know.
No, of
it's
course.
nice countries, yeah.
Beautiful countries indeed. And Paulo's already thinking of a holiday. Imagine
Va a
that
ser
one
difícil.
day of work.
Va a ser difícil.
Baby, let's go to you now, of course, as it relates to the Reggae Boys, because when Paulo pulled out Guatemala, and I read that stat earlier about 10 different goal scorers, and that was only back in 2021, you kind of said, oh, a little worried about the Reggae Boys?
I mean, it's a tough group, but I'm not so much worried. I think the coaches will be doing the homework by now, by seeing the group. So I think the boys will do what they need to do to get through the zone. I mean, with the talent that we have today, and with the team that we have in place and the group of players that we have to select from, I think once we go out there and execute the game to the best of our ability, we should be coming out on top.
Yeah, and Paulo, you spoke earlier, you mentioned the experience of Costa Rica. You've been to 2 World Cups, and Costa Rica have actually qualified for the last 3 FIFA World Cups. So will that experience, you think, help the team progress, dare I say, easily? Que háblame un poquito de la experiencia de los ticos.
No va a ser fácil, ¿verdad? No va a ser fácil. Sí tenemos la experiencia, sí tenemos jugadores que ya han pasado por ahí, que ya han hecho varias eliminatorias, que ya han jugado mundiales, pero entendemos y respetamos el área que han crecido, ¿no? Entonces, pero sí veo a Costa Rica en la siguiente ronda.
Oh, big talk there. Very confident, Paulo. He said that, of course, he knows that Costa Rica will lean into that experience, that they have a lot of players that have not just played in many CONCACAF qualifiers, but have also played in numerous World Cups. So they will definitely be there to guide some of the younger ones. And because of that, he's slyly saying that he feels like Costa Rica are favorites in this group and to get to yet another World Cup. Baby, let's go back to you again, but not so much talking about the Reggae Boys. I want to talk about the Reggae Girls, because we talked about the history that you helped Jamaica make back in 1998. The Reggae Girls have qualified for 2 back-to-back Women's World Cups. They got out of the group at the last Women's World Cup, the first Caribbean nation to ever do that and get out of the group at any FIFA World Cup. So do you think the boys can draw some serious inspiration from what the girls have achieved?
Yeah, I do think so. I mean, massive shout out to the Reggae Girls and their staff. I think they have made us super proud. I think they have done an excellent job over the last 2 campaigns, and it's inspiration for the nation. So I think the boys will look at that to give them a little bit of push, and also with what they are doing as well, because whenever I watch them, I see them, they grow from strength to strength in each game, and they are a team pulling together, and they have tournaments coming up, and I'm sure they'll be using those tournaments as landmarkers to make sure that they are ready for the World Cup campaign whenever the qualifier starts.
And worst case, we'll just have you lace up your boots and go out there again, right?
I think we have enough to do that.
All right.
I hope so.
Fingers crossed indeed, of course. Well, all that's left for me to do right now is to thank our legends for giving us a helping hand. And of course, to thank Manolo for steering us through it all so smoothly. And also, thanks to you guys. Yes, you. All of you who are watching, and to keep on top of all of the latest news in the build up to the games in June and much, much more, FIFA Plus is the place to go. So Now the CONCACAF nations know what they must do to take the first step towards joining their neighbors at the FIFA World Cup 26. It's going to be the most inclusive FIFA World Cup yet. I am absolutely buzzing for it. So here's a little taste of what we can expect. And until then, it's goodbye for now.
An eagle flies to the maple tree beneath 50 stars as our continent unites to open its arms. Y dice, bienvenido al mundo, fais comme chez toi. 2026, North America's footballing fairy tale, as teams from across